well up inside of you and give you eyes to see that doctrine coming out from God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love what you said,
Yeah.
philosophy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. And that's what men and women will do that don't really know God, but have only heard of Him.
Right.
They'll create all these philosophies and doctrines that include some language about God, but not really about God. I mean, Job talked about God quite a lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
In his letter?
Yeah.
He goes on for 40-something chapters about God. All his friends talked about God quite a lot, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And then God comes in and says, who is it that darkens my counsel with words without knowledge?
Oops.
And then Job, this is what Job says. It's a powerful thing. And honestly, guys, this is what the majority of the church has suffered under for like 1,500 years now, and even yet is suffering today under, which is, I only heard about you, but I never really knew you.
Yeah.
And so much of the church is like Job. They only really heard about God, but they never really knew Him. Right? There's a difference between hearing about God secondhand, or like if we sit in a circle here and I whisper in Shannon's ear, and then she whispers in Linda's ear, and then we see what it gets to when it gets over to you, Jody. Right? There's a difference between what you'll hear after it gets translated all around to what you'll hear when you're hearing straight from the mouth of God.
Yeah.
There's a difference. And I would say the majority of the church, and these are good people who love God. I mean, but Paul said this about the Jewish people. They have a zeal for God, but it's not according to knowledge. And so I would say the church finds themselves in a place where they have a zeal for God, but it ain't according to knowledge. And they're just like Job, where they only heard about God. They never really knew Him. But what's going on now, if we want to look at the spirit of prophecy, is that the Spirit is coming. And the Spirit is raising something up inside of the body of Christ, where this voice is echoing, who is it that darkens my counsel with words without knowledge? God is asking the church that right now. Who is it that darkens my counsel with words without knowledge? And it isn't because He's angry. It's because He sees that their lack of knowledge is bringing them death. And their lack of knowledge is causing His people to suffer at the hands of the serpent.
Right.
Our lack of knowledge. Guys, the most basic thing. God doesn't condemn people when He finds them in sin. He saves them. And yet we say, the man who represented us in our sin, we say God's the one who killed Him at the cross. The most basic of doctrines. The church, by and large, has got no freaking clue. The cross